You're watching the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast.
Well, hello there. My name is Brent Smith, and I'm the Common Constitutionalist, and welcome once again to the Common Constitutionalist Weekend Video Podcast. Today, I will be talking about, well, two topics, I guess. First topic, that's not a COVID vaccine, and the second topic is I'm liking some Ron DeSantis. So that's what I'll be discussing today. Right after this, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, being former military myself, I have great respect for anybody who served in any capacity. I don't care if you're a drone pilot, you're an office clerk, you're a door kicker, whatever. You join to serve, and you should be appreciated. There are relatively few who join in any capacity to serve, and they should be lauded for that. Okay. But there are some things the military simply shouldn't get involved in, and this is one of them. This is from The Blaze. According to a report from CBS News 42, people who believed they were being administered a dose of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine were mistakenly instead injected with Regeneron, an antibody cocktail that is often used to treat people who have already contracted the disease. In other words, they were thinking they were getting the COVID vaccine, and somebody screwed up, mixed some stuff up, and they got Regeneron. Well, thank heavens it was just Regeneron. Back to The Blaze. The shots in question were reportedly administered by the West Virginia National Guard, which was working with Boone County, West Virginia Health Department to host a clinic where the vaccine was being administered to priority patients. Fabulous. The West Virginia National Guard states that they believe there is no risk of harm to the individuals who received the incorrect shot, and that they are in the process of contacting everyone who received the shot to notify them of what occurred so they can return for the correct shot. Quote, "The moment we were notified of what happened, we acted right away to correct it, and we immediately reviewed and strengthened our protocols to enhance our distribution process to prevent this from happening again," said Major James Hoyer, Adjutant General of the West Virginia National Guard. Regeneron was the stuff that Trump took when, I guess when he had it. This was before the vaccine. And it worked wonders. It was really great, but it was for people that had it. And so these 42 people should thank their lucky stars that it was just something like this. It could have been something else. It could have been, potassium chloride or some, golly, we gave you the drug they give to death row inmates when they're putting them to death that stops their heart or something like that. I would be freaking out if this was me. Yes, I understand it was Regeneron. I don't know whose fault this was, but why in the hell is the military, whether it be National Guard or regular Army or Navy or whoever, administering these vaccines? Why the heck can't the state of West Virginia do it themselves? It was 42 shots or 42 patients that got the wrong thing out of how many? There hasn't been that many shots of the vaccine given to begin with. How in the hell does this get screwed up? And I assume this is on the National Guard. Like I said, there are some things that the military, including the National Guard, just shouldn't be involved in. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen in a non-military facility. Of course it did, but the fact is that it happened at a military facility, or at least military personnel. The point is that The military is good for doing really two things. It was designed to do two things. To kill people and break things. That's it. That's what it's supposed to do. Everything else is supposed to be done by the civilians, the non-military, the politicians, and so on and so forth. This isn't the military's job. I don't fault them necessarily for it, but I don't understand why the National Guard was involved in this thing in the first place. It's not like it's not like they're trying to put down a riot or they're protecting something or they're, they're out on flood control or something like that. They're saving lives. This was just administering shots. Why in the hell is the National Guard doing something like this? I have no idea. And, right off of the bat, something screws up and then they get blamed for it. I don't know if it's their fault or not. I have no idea. It seems really strange. That's all. And that's when I go back to the point is that the military should specialize in those two things because that's the way they've always been. Kill people, break things. That's it, okay? I'm not even going to go into hearts and minds nonsense and keeping the peace and building the peace and things like that after conflict and things like that. I'm just not going to go into that. This is not the place. I'm just pointing out the fact that this is weird, and it's given, in my opinion, probably a black eye to the National Guard, deservedly or not. I have no idea. But military personnel, regardless of who you are, shouldn't be involved in something like this for non-military personnel. It would be one thing if you're giving the COVID vaccine to active duty or reservists or something like that in the military. That's a different deal. But to administer it just to Tom, Dick, and Harry, Janie and Aunt Martha, that just Grandma, whatever, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I just thought I'd bring it up just because it was an oddity is all. And like I said, the military, even the National Guard, shouldn't be involved at all in this kind of stuff. This should be non-military hospitals. This should just be non-military medical personnel doing this kind of stuff. Not that they wouldn't screw it up, because it could be just simple human error. But that's all I got on that. I'll be right back after this.
You're watching the Common Constitutionalist video podcast.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
All right, welcome back. And before I begin, I want to remind everybody to like, subscribe, comment. How is it that I always forget one thing? Like, subscribe, comment, share. It's not brain surgery here, man. Maybe I need brain surgery. That's the problem. Okay, anyway, second segment. Liking some Ron DeSantis. He's the governor of Florida. This is from Conservative Review / The Daily Caller. I don't know what's going on with Conservative Review. This was Mark Levin's site, and then he went in with Glenn Beck, and they're the Blaze, basically. And I don't know whether Conservative Review has merged with the Daily Caller, but a lot of the Daily Caller stuff ends up on Conservative Review. I haven't really looked into it. I guess I don't care that much, but in any event. This is from Conservative Review / The Daily Caller. Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said Wednesday that he did not plan to use his status as an elected official to get early access to the coronavirus. Good on you, Governor DeSantis. Let me preface this by, I was not a Ron DeSantis fan. I am rapidly becoming a Ron DeSantis fan. It's interesting because it's kind of like the same trajectory that Donald Trump had. I couldn't stand Donald Trump when I was, everybody knows, if you know my history, I was a Ted Cruz guy. I'm a Constitution guy. Anybody who gets closer to the Constitution than everyone else, I'm their guy, okay? Or they're my guy, so to speak, or girl, or whatever. I don't care who it is. But that's the whole point. And Trump won us all over, all us constitutional conservatives. Trump has been the most constitutional president, maybe since Calvin Coolidge, even more so than Ronald Reagan, Ronaldus Magnus, even more so than Ronald Reagan. Okay? Trump has the moniker, I think, going all the way back to Calvin Coolidge. That's astounding. Okay, so Republican Governor Ron DeSantis said Wednesday that he did not plan to use his status as an elected official to get early access to the coronavirus vaccine. Hooray for you, bro. If you've seen these pictures of elected officials, Pelosi, AOC, what is she, 30, 29 years old, in perfect health as far as I can see, physical health, just saying. And she gets her coronavirus shot before Grandma Moses gets it, or Grandpa Clyde gets it. That's insanity. It's just, but it tells you a lot about leftists, doesn't it? Okay? DeSantis explained that although he might have access to the vaccine due to his position as governor of Florida, he did not intend to make himself a priority. Good for you. Quote, this is from DeSantis himself. Quote, when it is my turn, I will take it, DeSantis continued, saying that he wanted those at higher risk to have the chance to be vaccinated first. Bully for you. And this has been a complaint of mine since they started giving out the vaccine. They give it out to the medical workers and whatnot, these 20-somethings and work at hospitals and whatever, and they have almost no chance of getting COVID. And even if they do get COVID, there's almost no chance, there's almost zero chance of them dying or even being hospitalized from it. Yet, we continue in my state, tiny little state of New Hampshire. We had 3 or 4, I think it was 4 deaths recently, 4 COVID deaths recently. I'm just, it may not be or it may be. 3 of the 4 were elderly people in nursing homes, in elder care facilities. We still haven't figured that out, yet our politicians, our 20-something, frontline workers are getting the vaccine, and these poor old people aren't. That's insanity. So good on you, Governor DeSantis, for saying that I'm not going to use my position, because he could have been first in line in Florida, and he's not. Getting back to his quote. Quote, granted I'm an elected official, but whoop-de-doo. Good deal. At the end of the day, let's focus on where the risk is, he concluded. Several other lawmakers have already announced their intentions to wait until those at increased risk have had the chance to receive the virus. As far as I know, the only Democrat that has had a chance to receive the virus and has declined for the same reason Governor DeSantis is Tulsi Gabbard. And I don't know what the heck has gotten into this woman, but I am becoming a fan of Tulsi Gabbard too. Okay? She's a liberal, but she's not a leftist. She is a Joe Lieberman type liberal before he sold out to get on the Al Gore ticket. Prior to that, there were some other guys, Sam Nunn, there were some other liberal Democrats that weren't radical leftists back in the day. Okay, there were still lots of progressives, lots of dirtbag Democrats that were around a long time, but back in the late 80s, mid-late 80s, early 90s, some of these Democrats were actually more conservative than a lot of today's Republicans. That, in my opinion, appears to be the road that Tulsi Gabbard is heading down. I don't think she'll ever become a constitutional conservative, but she may be liberal, but it's a far cry from liberal to leftist radical, which a lot of these Pelosi, AOC types, Chuck Schumer, these dirtbag leftists, okay, they'll run over you to get to the front of the line to get their COVID vaccine. They'll run over grandma. They'll push her out of her wheelchair to be first in line to get the COVID vaccine, because they don't care about you or me. They certainly don't care about me, but they don't care about you. Even leftists, the Black Lives Matter people, the Antifa people, whoever, they don't care about you any more than they care about me. They don't, okay? And they'll push you aside too to be first in line for the COVID vaccine. And they frankly don't care if you ever get the damn vaccine as long as they get it. That's the bottom line. So good for Tulsi Gabbard, good for Ron DeSantis. I don't know whether he's setting himself up to be the next candidate in 2024, but if he's headed that way, if he's headed this way, common sense, constitutional conservatism, he's starting to impress me, and frankly, that takes a lot, because I'm pretty cynical as far as politics and politicians go. Most of them are cut from the same cloth, and you see what they're made of during these types of times, who they buy into, who they align themselves with. And Ron DeSantis has set himself up to be Trump light, for want of a better term. I don't know. But at any rate, that's what I've got. My name is Brent Smith. I'm the Common Constitutionalist. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Yay, I did it right. First time. Woohoo! Probably is the first time. That's all I got. See ya.